So this is why I'm building a powder coating oven. This is the infrared lamp that you can get on Eastwood.com, and you can see I used their powder coating gun and setup also, which seems to work pretty well. I don't have anything to compare it to quite yet, but I have to move this lamp around this big piece here and cure it in sections, which takes a long time when you have to let each section cure for half an hour once it gets up to temp and flows out. As you can see, the glossy parts are where it's flowed out, and then over here on the right it's cured up pretty well. So I'm just working my way around this table leg for a monstrous table. That's 1/2 inch plate on the top there. And so just thought I'd give you a hint of, for one thing, how this system works, which it works really well. It's just really time consuming. And so if you have space limitations and your time is not something you're really concerned about, you can do other things while you're doing this, so it's not the end of the world. But it is kind of a pain. It'd be nice I have 2 of these that I need to do, and once I have the oven done, I could just coat both of them, put them in the oven, and they'd both be done in half an hour, 45 minutes. So this is a lot more labor intensive. So if you're only doing big parts, every so often, this might be a good situation for you. But if you're going to be doing big stuff a lot, or big quantities of small things, it's probably, and you have the space and power and everything, it's probably worth it to go ahead and build the oven. So once I saw the quality I could get with this, I decided the oven was the way to go. So just thought you might be interested in some of the motivation, and also just kind of get a look at how that system is working. So stay tuned. Okay, so here's my schematic, as it were. I guess a whiteboard is maybe a step above the back of a napkin. But so here's my plan for wiring the controls. Got 120 that's going to be coming in from the wall. I'll have a master switch for that. Then I'm going to have a bus for positive 120 there. And I'll have 120 going to a switch for the lights, switch for the fan, and then power to the timer and to the temperature controller there. I've got the pin numbers here for the timer and the temperature that I got off the manual for the Inkbird controllers there. So you can see, terminal 3 and 4 off the temperature controller go to the thermocouple. I've got it running through the timer to the solid state relay. And then the negative goes back to the temperature out of that relay. Then down here I've got 220 coming in. That's going to go through a switch for an oven master switch there, and then it's going to go through the solid state relay. So when the temperature controller says to turn the heating elements on, it's going to go through the timer, and if there's time, if that relay is closed, it'll go to the solid state relay, which will connect through here and go to the 4 heating elements wired in parallel. So I just finished framing up the door here. So I've got this window set in the middle. Just a small frame there. That a small oven door that I salvaged from one of my donor ovens is going to fit in there. So I've got a gasket for that. This is the door I'm going to use. That square mates up with this edge, the inside of this, and then I've got this oven gasket that's going to seal that up, and it's all going to clamp down there. So we'll be cutting out the skin on the CNC machine and getting that riveted up. So I got my buddy Scott here helping tonight, and he made these brackets to hold the heating elements just out of the studs. So he's just putting in the last heating element there. We also got it stood up without too much calamity. And I've made these boxes for the insulation. That long one's going to be for the ductwork there, and one across the back for those heating elements. So it's starting to feel pretty real. It's coming right together. So next is, yes, last heating element is in. So we got to wire those up. Yeah, so we got to wire all of those up and put the conduit around for those. Then the thermocouple. Then I'm going to work on the box there and get that together, and then I'm going to test it all out before I insulate and skin the inside, before we get too ahead of ourselves there. So just starting to get the control box wired up, and I've got the 8 gauge is going to be coming the 220 line to the heating elements into the box there and into this first 90-degree bend, and 8 gauge does not like to bend, so just did a connection up here. And so this just black to black, white to white, red to red, and I've got the copper bonding wire mated up, and then it's bound with that green screw there to the box there, just to ground it to the chassis. So then it's coming down this piece of 3/4 conduit to this next box here. And so that box, I should have taken some video before I closed it up, but these white wires are coming in from the heating element. It's 14 gauge, it's heat resistant. And so that's just, it's a 3-wire connection inside that wire nut. So one of those is attached to the to where the reds are mated up, and the other one is where the blacks are mated up. So there's 3 wires in each of those, and then there's another 8 gauge that goes through this channel, and it's going to go around the corner to the back heating elements there, through this insulation box that's insulating the ductwork. So that's where we're at.